So if we look now at a practical application, then we will see why these are not training methods. As a recap, we talked about the relation between intensity and duration. But when we looked at some of the pyramids, we saw, just an example for the flat pyramid here, we could do 80% of the 1RM for 6 reps in the first set, then 75% of the 1RM for 8 reps, and then 70% of the 1RM for 10 reps. And if we look at that, these are RM loads, so which means it's either a maximum exertion or a near maximum exertion. If we look at the RPE, it would be somewhere between an RPE of 8.5 as a minimum to maybe up to a 10 RPE. So here we have it. These are 1RM loads. RM loads, excuse me. Maximum to near maximum exertion. If you want to train successfully with such a protocol, there needs to be an inter-serial rest, so the rest between the sets of more than 3 minutes. Yeah. But if we would just look at the intensity in this reverse pyramid, and we go to example number 2, look at the intensities, and we change the intensity slightly. So we do 70% of the 1RM for 6, 65% of the 1RM for 8, and 60% of the 1RM for 10. Suddenly the question is, are these still RM loads? Please bear with me, it will make sense in a minute. So same thing, same pyramid, different intensities. And if you're not aware of this reps in reserve, the concept of reps in reserve and exertion levels, let's jump into it. So here we have it. These on the top, you see the repetitions in reserve and the intensity of the 1RM, and on the left side you see the repetitions performed. And if we look at the given example, for example, 60% of the 1RM for 10 reps, there we have 60% and there we have 10. So we end up with 5 reps in reserve, more or less. Yeah. So this table is not written in stone. It changes between individuals and it also changes between lower body and upper body, but it is certainly a good guideline. So 60% of the 1RM for 10 reps is a 5 reps in reserve. Yeah. So which equates to a medium exertion. Let's look at 65% of the 1RM for 8 reps. Here we have it, 65%, 8 repetitions. Same thing here. It equates more or less again to 5 reps in reserve. And if we now go to 70% of the 1RM for 6 reps, same thing here, same procedure. It's also a 5 reps in reserve, yeah, which equates to a medium exertion. Let's give or take one repetition, one might be 4 reps in reserve and the other one might be 6 reps in reserve, but you can see we are far away from our near maximum or maximum exertion as I've outlined in the previous example. So what does it all mean? So here we talk about same pyramid, same form of training, different intensity, and repetitions remain the same, but instead of a near max to maximum exertion, now we're at a medium exertion. And for a medium exertion, we could actually train with less interserial rest. So only 60 to 90 seconds of interserial rest. So what does all that talking mean? Well, that's a very good question. If we look at our 2 examples here, example number 1, yeah, RM loads or near maximum to maximum exertion. Example number 2, medium exertion. We can see that example number 1 would be much more the repetition method, and example number 2 could be classified as an intensive interval method. Yeah. Why is that? Number 1, we have complete rest. On example number 1, we need complete rest in order to do that successfully, this reverse pyramid at this intensities and that rep scheme. Example number 2, we can have shorter rest periods, so incomplete rest. And also, if we look at the intensities, yeah, we have in example number 1, maximum intensities, almost maximum intensities, and in example number 2, medium intensities. So as a recap, training methods are determined by the manipulation and management of training variables. And that's what you could see in the example now. So we just look at intensity and density, and then we could say that pyramid training variations in itself is not a training method, because one pyramid training could be performed with the so-called repetition method and the other one with the so-called intensive interval method.